He has botched his promises on the economy, and he's botched his promises on creating peace in the Middle East. The real question that people are asking here in America is what the F is Donald Trump doing?
That's not actually the real question that people in America are asking, but if you're Hakeem, the Jew hater, that's his frat name, then that might be your question, because they're not a bright bunch. They're not an honest bunch, but they are a dangerous, violent bunch of jihadis and communists. You know, the Democrat Party. And move to New York if you've been longing to live in Somalia. New York is on the precipice of becoming Somalia. The Democrat Zorhan, don't mess with the Zorhan Momdani. This guy's something. From Uganda to South Africa, his Indian heritage. He's 33 years old. He's a Democrat and a socialist, really a communist, because communists always call themselves socialists. It's important to start with a big lie. Lie about everything. You're a socialist, after all. You're a communist. Yeah, Momdani declares victory in New York City over Cuomo, over the gropester, Gropey McGropeface, Andrew Cuomo, the lady killer, you know, with everybody in the old folks' homes during the Wuhan, because the Cuomo organized crime family. They should have Fredo run for something, too, these people. New York City Democratic mayoral primary, They love their colons. Momdani declares victory. Cuomo concedes before ranked choice votes are counted. Why would they wait for the votes to be counted? Don't you know who they are? Sig Heil. And they've got this guy. He really, I think, to call him Hitler might be insulting to Hitler. I think that should be something discussed. At what point, we were having a discussion about this, the radio station right here in the studio this morning. At what point does the Democrat Party become declared a terrorist organization? How many violent acts of murder and Molotov cocktails and mass murder of police officers, suicide attacks? How many? Honestly, there are multiple radical Islamic jihadi organizations that have not committed as much violence inside the United States, certainly, in the last few years, as the Democrat Party has committed. And the Democrat Party they just love this guy, Zorhan Momdani. He's a state assemblyman already as a Democrat or a Democrat socialist. And he declared victory over the former governor, the disgraced, humiliated, rejected former governor, Andrew Cuomo, Gropey McGropeface, killed them all in the old folks' homes during the Wuhan Red Death. And he had already conceded because, I'm having the floor mopped with me over here by Zorhan. Don't let the Zorhan fool you. Amazing things going on in the Democrat Party in the United States of America. And he says, here's what this communist says. He says that if and when Benjamin Netanyahu comes to New York City, he will arrest him. He's going to send men with guns down to arrest a prime minister of an allied country. And his guys, he's got security people, and they have guns too. So he's going to start a war with Israel because the Democrat Party, really, they should be wearing armbands as they goose step around, burning Jewish governors' mansions and setting fire to 88-year-old Holocaust survivors in Boulder, Colorado. They're quite amazing. Suicide attacks against police, suicide attack against President Trump, suicide attack against Republican congressman on a baseball field in Alexandria, Virginia, where Congressman Steve Scalise was shot by a Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer. Keeping in mind it was a Democrat Party presidential campaign volunteer that shot and killed Martin Luther King. Pay no attention to that. They've had that scrubbed from their record. The New York Times and CNN helped. Remarkable times we're in. Yeah, and I've got audio for you of this Mayor Momdani, and not all of it is from Team America World Police. But I think a lot of it is. I think we've got some Team America World Police, because this guy, really, he is Durka Muhammad Jihad. He is Kalaka Muhammad Jihad. This guy is so anti-American and the huge favorite of the Democrat Party in New York City, our most populous city. And he won, I think, basically in a landslide. Is it fair to call it a landslide? Amazing Democrat Party it is. Don't mess with the Zorhan. He should be wearing bandoleros, X-cross across his chest, and he should walk everywhere with an AK-47 in his hand. This guy, and the Democrats, they voted for him overwhelmingly. In the meantime, the Democrats, they lie about everything because they're the left, and they're radicals, and they love the jihad, and they hate America, they hate Israel, and they hate Western civilization because they're the left. They're brainwashing. Oh, and they also say that the reason that this psychopath Momdani won in a landslide is because of the young voters. I think they have like kindergartners voting as transgender voters or something. Oh, yeah, this guy also, Momdani, in spite of the fact that he's an Islamist, jihadi, genocidal anti-Semite who wants to see global jihad, he calls it the global intifada. Global intifada. Intifada is an armed war against the Jewish people that would ultimately exterminate the Jewish population, which is what their boy Adolf Hitler set out to do with his Socialist Workers' Party, and now Momdani with his Socialist Democrat Party, like Bernie Sanders, has the same goal. Among others, destroy the United States of America. And the Democrats cheer him, and they vote for him because they've brainwashed a generation of glassy-eyed zombies that will fall in line and goose-step along with anything the Democrat Party tells them to goose-step with. Remarkable events going on in New York. And the amazing, and our amazing news media, my God, our news media, they ought to be gassed. That's a little Nazi reference. They ought to be gassed. The video of New York City mayoral candidate vowing to arrest Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu goes viral. I would think it would. Yeah, you got a mayor, a Democrat running for mayor of New York City, promising to arrest. Well, I think Republican mayors across the country should come out and say they're going to arrest and jail the British Prime Minister and the French President and the Mexican President. Just announce that if these foreign leaders ever come to their cities, they're going to start arresting them. They're going to have SWAT teams go out, rifle butts to the ground, handcuffs, drag them away by the ankles, face down, and announce it. Of course, you would never do anything of the kind, but just announce that you're going to do that so we can watch the news media overreact to that while cooing and purring as this savage announces he's going to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, a hero of Western civilization. The Democrat Party should be banned in the United States of America. This guy should be arrested. He should be arrested right now. What do you think? Arrest him? Get an FBI pre-dawn raid, put a CNN camera crew across the street. Traditional FBI activity. Remarkable stuff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm looking at him this morning, and I couldn't help but think Durka Muhammad Jihad. Couldn't help but think Team America World Police.
Durka Allah, Muhammad Jihad. Bak Allah, Muhammad Jihad.
The future mayor.
Muhammad Jihad Allah, Durka, Muhammad Jihad. Muhammad Jihad.
He's having a press conference.
Durka Allah. Durka, Muhammad Jihad.
See, that's they're in the New York City Democrat Party politics. They're not on our side. They're not on the side of civilization. They're the left. They don't call themselves communists because they ruined that brand, but they are. They're jihadists. And if you're for global intifada, what you're actually for is a global shooting war among people that look a lot like civilians, but shoot people, as the Democrats shoot tens of thousands of people a year in the United States of America, quite literally. But never mind that. Yes, sir. Now, the Democrats, in the meantime, on Capitol Hill are fighting to impeach President Trump because he brought a ceasefire to the Middle East between Iran and Israel. So naturally, the Democrats, who have already shot Donald Trump once and conspired to assassinate him a couple more times, along with the Iranians. The Iranians sent guys here to assassinate Donald Trump, too, but they had to get in line behind a number of Democrats because the Democrat Party, the party of the bullwhip in the Confederate States of America, never mind that. But the Democrats are trying to impeach. They've got an impeachment resolution that they're presenting to impeach President Trump. They've tried that twice already. It's an abuse of the Constitution. It's a violation of the law. They're dictators. They're Hitler. And this is the conversation you have with these gender-confused, violent, criminally insane, run-of-the-mill Democrats running for positions like mayor of New York. But pay no attention to that. Amazing stuff. In the meantime, President Trump is in Europe. You know, we keep it over there across the Atlantic Ocean. And President Trump is at the NATO summit, where the NATO Secretary General is praising Donald Trump for strengthening NATO, which he's been doing since the moment he came down the escalator. Say, hey, maybe you guys should pay your fair share. And the Democrats say, no, we're going to steal all your stuff in Iowa, and we're going to pay for the defense of the Netherlands with your hard-earned money in Nebraska. But we're not going to ask our so-called NATO allies to pay their fair share. Remember, that was one of Barack Hussein Obama's big lines, pay your fair share. That was before he took our fair share that we had paid and gave it to Iran so they could build nuclear weapons with which to kill us. It's the old communist line that, was it Lenin or Stalin? I think it was Lenin. The capitalist will sell you the rope with which to hang them. That's what communists said. And, you know, keep in mind that in Seattle, Washington, in the United States of America, the Democrats built a 16-foot-tall bronze statue to Vladimir Lenin, the Bolshevik communist revolutionary, and it has never been vandalized because the Democrats know how to raise little communists. It's quite an amazing world we're living in, the Democrat Party. President Trump being praised at the NATO summit by the Secretary General of NATO for making NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, much stronger, much more stable, much more powerful, because we're going to be paying more into the common defense. They had agreed, and then never did follow through, agreed to pay 2% of gross domestic product for all the NATO nations. Many of them, most of them, never met that promise, but never mind that. And now President Trump has them saying, we're going to pay 5% of GDP into the common defense, making NATO much stronger. And Democrats, the gigantic lie that is the Democrat Party, is now, and we had the liberal on my TV show last night on Newsmax saying the same thing. Oh, he's weakening NATO. Yeah, right. Oh, he's made Iran stronger. Well, now Iran has justification for building an arsenal of nuclear weapons and ICBMs to protect themselves from us, from the United States. That's the Democrat talking point now. Of course, Iran has to have an arsenal of nuclear weapons with which to use on us, and the Jews, of course, because we threatened them by bombing their secret underground nuclear facilities, spinning centrifuges, enriching uranium. And Barack Obama okayed all of that, along with Boltneck John Kerry. These guys, boy, they're looking forward to an eternity in hell, and it looks like they're perfectly comfortable with that. Also, the Democrats are saying, oh, and this is the front page of the Washington Post, and it's CNN yesterday all day. Here's the lead story in the Washington Post today. U.S. report says nuclear program wasn't eliminated. And that's all that your average Democrat's going to read. Oh, see, Trump is lying. We didn't even drop a bomb. We just dropped Subway sandwiches that they like so much. Just amazing. Boy, oh boy, Iran's efforts were set back by months. Now, this is a fake, anonymous intelligence official. In the immediate aftermath, these intelligence assessments, bomb damage assessments, take a good deal of time and a number of layers. You really want to be in there on the ground, as they say. Initial assessment contradicts claims by president. The initial assessment says that it was rendered in short with a low level of confidence, which means they're just starting the bomb damage assessment. But the news media has already run with it. CNN's all over it. The Washington Post is all over it because they're voting for the Zohan. You know, these guys. Old Zorhan is their guy in New York. The Democrat Party should really leave the country. Maybe go to Canada or someplace. Oh, speaking of which, Rosie O'Donnell has reared her charming head out of Ireland. She's a bright one. Aren't they amazing? The Democrat Party. Also, did you see in New York the Statue of Liberty? I'll share this one with you coming up. Now that they've elected Zorhan, because whoever wins the Democrat nomination wins the mayoral election in New York. And this guy looks like he's fighting for a civil war and foreign wars, but just against our allies. And the Democrats, particularly the Utes, voted for him in droves. We are at 888-630-9625. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. Now there are great tweets out. Don Keefe tweeted out, "Congratulations, New York," with a great aerial photograph of the Statue of Liberty on Liberty Island. And the Statue of Liberty is draped from head to toe in an Iranian chador. You know, the black head covering and the long black robe from head to toe that women are forced to wear, or they'll be beaten and executed in Iran. The Democrats are kind of there with the Iranians, aren't they? So the Statue of Liberty wearing a chador, Iran woman oppression style. Great stuff. Breaking news, New York City primary winner Zorhan Momdani announces exclusive election night celebration party for LGBTQ and Jewish supporters on the roof of the Empire State Building. Much better place from which to throw them off and kill them, you see. Isn't that amazing? So we got that. Yes, sir. Now, Zorhan, his middle name is Kwame. Zorhan Kwame Momdani, that makes Democrats more likely to vote for him. He tweeted out a while back, queer liberation means defund the police. Queer, that makes sense if you're very severely brain damaged and mentally ill. And he showed a clip of Nazis, Jew-hating genocidal lunatics like himself, violently attacking the police. And he calls it a protest. Says queer liberation means defund the police. This is today's Democrat Party. The Democrat Party started a civil war in the United States many years ago. And they were reasonable back then. They just wanted to keep their slaves. Now they want to keep their illegal alien slaves to wipe their various parts, according to Democrat members of Congress. They've always been the party of slavery. They're pro-slavery. They're just, it's not they're the anti-slavery party. They're the pro-slavery party. Pro-illegal alien, pro-child sex trafficking party. Pro-violence against police party. The pro-mob street violence party. The rioting party, the looting party, the party of arson, the party of targeting the Jewish people. And that brings us back to the Democrat, who is the big winner, Zorhan Momdani. And Kwame is his middle name. Goes by Kwame. Zorhan, don't mess with the Zorhan Momdani. And he's 33 years old. He is, to say that he's not on our side would be hurtful to people that are just not on our side. This guy is something, and the Democrats, the Utes in particular, couldn't wait to vote for him because America must be destroyed. We're the great Satan. And this guy, well, let's go to the Zorhan Momdani his victory speech in New York City in the United States of America last night. He's the big winner because the Democrats really love him.
The mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism.
And they all went well. Then they self-immolated.
To stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors.
How big are the ICE agents? Mass ICE agents.
And to govern our city as a model for the Democratic Party.
We're going to need rail spurs and death camps before they're done. It's going to be a model for the Democrat Party. Deutschland. Uber alles. You know, Uber alles is always the second part of it. You never say Deutschland twice without then following it up with Uber alles, because that's your Democrat. So the fascist he's called here is the little, and talk about, it's the projection thing that they're so fond of. He is not just close to being a fascist. This guy ought to be gassed. This guy, I'm going to keep saying that, I think, today. This guy should be catapulted into the Atlantic Ocean. He should be deported to whatever beephole. The last one, I think, was before he came to the United States to go to private schools in New York. He was going to private schools in South Africa, right? And he was born in Uganda, parents of Indian origin. And to say that he doesn't share American values would be generous, very generous indeed. Yeah, the fascist, he's got to stop working with ICE, and he really wants to defund the police. This is one of them. They might, the police might protect the Jews or something, and you can't have that because just amazing Democrat Party stuff. Yeah, I love the election night party on the roof of the Empire State Building for LGBTQ and Jewish people, so I can get the ball rolling. And the Statue of Liberty wearing the Iranian chador. That's perfect, I've got to say. And Michael Malice on Twitter said today, I'm old enough to remember when New Yorkers endured 9/11 instead of voting for it. And it's true, they're voting for the jihad. They're voting for genocidal racism. The mainstream of the Democrat, generations of younger Democrat Party voters in hipster New York City. It's not New York State, it's just New York City where all the cool kids hang, and they love the genocide of the Jews. They love the jihad. They want global intifada, which means global AK-47 murder on an epic scale. And this is what he is an advocate for, a vocal advocate for. And the Democrats vote for it. Isn't that great? Already a state assemblyman in New York. Just remarkable things he's got going here. Man, and here it is. Kevin Tober just shared with us that Zorhan Momdani, the day after the massacre of Jews in Israel, October 7th, Momdani got onto Twitter, provided by Western civilization and the patriarchy, where he condemned Israel for being murdered and raped and kidnapped. And he did it on his official assembly member, 36th District, his Twitter account, a statement by A.M. Zorhan K. Momdani on ongoing violence in Israel and Palestine. Yeah, they gave him a state twice the size of Washington, D.C., and they used it to launch murderous, raping, kidnapping attacks from. And Zorhan said, I mourn the hundreds of people killed across Israel and Palestine in the last 36 hours. He had to wait until Israel was striking back. Netanyahu's declaration of war, the Israeli government's decision to cut electricity to Gaza. Maybe you shouldn't wage war against the people that keep the lights on, morons. How stupid are you people? Are there really people that stupid in the world? The answer is yes, there are, and the Democrats just voted for one in New York City. He's condemning now Israel's government and their decision to cut electricity to Gaza while Gaza's attacking them and holding hostages. The Knesset members, their Congress, calling for another Nakba. Nakba, that's a sugary dessert, I think. Isn't that a sugary dessert? will undoubtedly lead to more violence and suffering in the days and weeks to come. Oh, you think the jihad will lead to violence and suffering in the weeks to come? The path forward, the path toward a just and lasting peace can only begin by ending the occupation and dismantling apartheid. That means ending the existence of the state of Israel. That's what he means by ending apartheid. The luckiest Arabs in the Arab world are the morons living in Gaza who, hey, let's attack the people that give us clean water and electricity and medical supplies, and let's kill their daughters and kidnap them and torture them in tunnels. And that's your Democrat Party. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, and Zorhan's out there last night calling Trump. What's his mission as mayor of New York? It's to attack Trump, who's not a New York politician. He's president of the United States, leader of the free world. He's putting Iran in their place and defending our allies. And he says this guy, Democrat, says he's going to arrest our allies and praise the murderers and rapists of the jihad. And he wants a global intifada, which is worldwide war. And he's applauded and cheered by mobs of Democrat Party voters for saying such things.
The mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism.
And they all cheer. That's what the mayor of New York is going to do, and to arrest the prime minister of Israel and start a literal war. And they're cheering. You hear the glassy-eyed zombie apocalypse cheering. The former governor, Gropey McGropeface, Andrew Cuomo, last night was informed very early on that he didn't hold a snowball's chance in Gaza of winning this election.
Tonight was Assemblyman Momdani's night, and he put together a great campaign, and he touched young people and inspired them and moved them and got them to come out and vote. And he really ran a highly impactful campaign. I called him. I congratulated him. I applaud him sincerely for his effort. And let's give him a round of applause and thank him for his campaign.
Yeah, and for touching the young people. He said, "Wait a minute, touching the young people and it moved? What's he talking about there?" That's kind of, they moved him and they touching the young people, and he probably of all people shouldn't go around talking about politicians touching people, since he touched so many people inappropriately.
He touched young people.
Wait a minute, come on. I remember when that was frowned upon. Now the Democrats have mainstreamed that too. Keep them away from the children. The mayor, the current mayor there, Eric Adams, who is running as an independent now because he knows that New York is lost. It's lost. It's like a third world beep hole. And the Democrats have made it thus. Another Democrat, former police officer, and he hasn't done a great job, but he's going to look good by comparison after the global intifada takes over New York. Mayor Eric Adams this morning on the Fox News channel.
He's a snake oil salesman. Mm-hmm. He will say and do anything to get elected. Think about this for a moment.
He's a Democrat.
He wants to raise 1%. He wants to raise tax on 1% of New York's high-income earners. As the mayor, you don't have the authority to do that. You know who has the authority to do that?
Who?
An assemblyman, which he is. He wants to do free buses. He could have done it at assemblyman.
At assemblyman. He could have done. He wants to arrest the prime minister of Israel. He wants global war. He calls it intifada, and then he lies about the meaning of the word intifada because he's a jihadi. And here is Zorhan. Beware the Zorhan, fear the Zorhan, being interviewed in an organization called The Bulwark. The Bulwark, and he's, I'm all for global war, hand-to-hand combat, AK-47, kill all the Jews.
Does that just make you uncomfortable? Like the phrase globalized intifada, from the river to the sea, does that make you uncomfortable?
I know people for whom those things mean very different things. And
Jihadis?
to me, ultimately, what I hear in so many is a desperate desire for equality and equal rights in standing up for Palestinian human rights.
Well, Israel gave the Palestinians an area more than twice the size of Washington, D.C., with more than 25 miles of beachfront property looking at the sunset on the Mediterranean Sea. Beautiful property. Could be Monte Carlo. You turned it into a blood-drenched rape factory because you were given the right to have elections, and you elected a terrorist organization called Hamas, who then behaved as radical Islamic jihadi terrorist organizations behave. And then he does this BS that they've been pulling for so long now. Oh, no, that word doesn't mean what you think it means, like Princess Bride.
I think what's difficult also is that the very word has been used by the Holocaust Museum when translating the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising into Arabic, because it's a word that means struggle.
Sure.
And
says the bulwark.
Muslim man who grew up post 9/11, I'm all too familiar in the way in which Arabic words can be twisted, can be distorted, can be used to justify any kind of meaning.
Yeah. So what are you saying? And the idiot with the bulwark is sitting there. I'm learning so much here because I'm incredibly ignorant and I have a very low IQ. So I'm going to sit here and nod in agreement so that more stupid people will vote for their own deaths. Aren't they amazing? Yeah, intifada. I think he's talking about jihad. The jihad means internal struggle until it comes to, kidnapping people and cutting their heads off and stuff. Then it's an external struggle, the Democrat Party. Because the words have been twisted since 9/11. I remember on 9/11, I was back at work in the Pentagon on 9/12, smelling the stench of the charred human bodies down the hall that you guys had left there. Aren't they amazing? And it does, it reminded us of this, since he said that the words are often misused. We went back to Fareed Zakaria of CNN, also known as Fried Zucchini, or Fred Zachary from Indiana, in which case no one would listen to him. Fried Zucchini from CNN, he is explaining that just like Zohan over here, that the words are often misinterpreted.
The original word that was used in the Quran was the word for raisin, not virgin.
What?
72 raisins.
What? You get 72 raisins? I wanted 72 virgins. That's not even a big box of raisins. I want more raisins than that. Isn't that amazing? Yes, sir. You know how the Democrats are going out and trying to liberate terrorists and gang members from all over the world and attacking ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. Well, Zorhan was out there attacking Tom Homan, our border czar, because he wants the United States to be overrun by the global intifada.
How many more New Yorkers will you detain? How many more New Yorkers will have charged? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom
That's
Homan?
him. That's him screaming at Tom Homan. I think he's unwell, but he wants a shooting war in the United States. Just amazing stuff. Zorhan in New York on NBC, and the reporter for the NBC interview noticed that Zorhan changes his accent quite frequently, from like Arabic to African to ghetto to New York to every time you talk to him, he sounds like he's from a different continent.
New Yorkers, more than they hate a politician they disagree with, they hate a politician they can't trust.
On the subject of trust, you've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
But they go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there are different parts of my life.
Worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour.
Momdani was talking about a worldwide press tour back when he was a rapper.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice.
He's
in
a rapper.
Disney movie directed by his mother.
Nepotism and hard work goes a long way. Here in New York City, this is how I speak, this is how I am.
Here, when I'm here, this is how I sound, this is what I sound. But I'm a rapper, I'm Latinx, I'm Indian, I'm South African, I'm a chameleon. You shouldn't trust me with a bag of donuts because I'll steal everything that you give me. Not a trustworthy person, and he's the big winner in the Democrat primary in the mayoral race in New York City. The winner of the Democrat primary historically wins in a landslide, and then let the intifada begin.
Fuck, Dirk Dirk Allah. Dirka Dirka, Muhammad Jihad.
Now, Kamala Harris has a stepdaughter. She's the daughter of Doug Emhoff, the second gentleman, whose Secret Service code name is Slugger because of the way he slapped the hell out of that woman at the Cannes Film Festival. Well, Kamala's stepdaughter, Ella Emhoff, lives in New York and couldn't wait to vote for the jihadi.
You know, I'm feeling a little trauma walking to the same polling station that I did to vote for Kamala. And, you know, I'm just feeling a lot of hope right now.
A lot of hope.
We did it. I'm feeling a huge mix of emotions. I'm really nervous. But
Kill
I'm
the
also
Jews.
So hopeful. It's been so spectacular seeing New York come together in this way and rally behind Zorhan.
Put on your burqa when you go down to take an AK-47. Let's grab a phone call, Michael. Let's go to Greg calling from Rockville, Maryland. Gregory, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, thanks for taking my call again. Love the show as always. This is Zorhan Momdani. He wants city-run grocery stores in New York. But why stop there? He can why not city-run, government-run pizza shops, and he can call them Momdanios. You just take over the Domino's, and we'll have pizza for the masses. I mean, right? Good New York pizza. I'm sure it'll turn out well. It's not like socialism hasn't failed before in terms of delivering scarce goods to a lot of people. I feel bad for New York, but it'll be fascinating to watch. I mean, we can watch it in real time. It'll collapse pretty fast. I mean, capital moves really fast, especially stock and bond capital, digital capital. So it'll collapse really fast if he's in charge.
Well, it's true, Greg. He wants to open 5 major giant grocery stores on city land in city buildings. And he came up with a clever idea. He said, we'll buy the groceries wholesale. Wait a minute. Well, now grocery stores are going to have to start buying food wholesale. The Democrat Party is a danger to civilization, not just in the United States, but globally, where he wants to see the intifada.